Hey Stevens Eagles, 6th graders, this is Mr. Brown coming from you live from now on my floor at my house. Just continuing to work. I was looking at our math and I noticed that lesson 8 falls closely behind with lesson 7, which I just made a video about. I'll be uploading that before this video, so please make sure that you're watching these in order if you need help. As you can see, I started working on it. I started making another video, and then Natalie, who is Forrest's little sister, some of you met her on that day that I had to be absent and sick, needed me, so then I had to stop, and I didn't want to just splice the videos together, so I just restarted. So lesson 8 is called Calculating Products of Decimals. It works really closely with our using diagrams to represent multiplication. So I'm using pretty much the same poster paper. Excuse me, I don't have fancy book holders, so I'm using candles while I am looking at our math online because I forgot my workbooks at home, the school. So didn't want to run back to go grab them today, so I just figured I'd start working on your guys' stuff today. So the first model that we'll be working on is area diagram using the multiplication problem 2.5 times 1.2. Again, we'll draw a rectangle and then label our side lengths of 2 and 0.5, making sure that we partition it. If you want to, you can actually measure this out 2.5 inches, and this also out 1 1/5 of an inch. If you are very particular. If you remember from the last video, after we partition it off to show that this does equal 2.5, but I want to have different area side lengths for different rectangles, we'll say 2 times 1 is 2, and then 1 times 0.5 is 1.5, or not 1.5 but 0.5. This is where Natalie started getting me messed up at because she is a silly goose and I don't know. So 1 times 0.5, it is 0.5. Remember, we can turn a decimal into a fraction because 0.5 is the same thing as writing 1/2, so 1 times 1/2 is 1/2. Or if you need that whole number into a fraction, 1 over 1 times 1/2 is also 1/2. So that is 0.5 right there. Then we come down to this. We have 2 times 2.1, or 2.2. So we're going to say 2 times 0.2. And the reason I'm putting my 0.2 in parentheses is because I'm going in between using our X as a multiplication symbol and our dot as a multiplication symbol. And so when I use this dot, I don't want to confuse you and make you think that this is 2.2. So this is 2 times 0.2. When we say 2 times 0.2, that is the same thing as saying 2 times, and I apologize for switching this up again, 2/10, which is the same thing as writing 2 over 1 times 2/10. So we then multiply our numerators across, so 2 times 2 is 4, and then 1 times 10 is 10. So now our answer is 4/10, or 0.4. Now we come to our last set of multiplications. So that'd be 0.5 times 0.2. So 0.5 times 0.2. If you want to, you can use one of the other methods that we've learned for multiplication. So we can bounce out these decimals and just do 5 times 2. Because if we remember, we can multiply both these also by 10 to make them whole numbers. So 5 times 2 would be 10. However, then we're going to have to divide out 100 because we just multiplied both of these. And I apologize that my camera action's not good. So if we multiply both these by 10, that'll make them into whole numbers of 5 times 2, which is 10. So then to get back down to our decimal, we need to divide the 10 by 100, which then gives us an answer of 0.1. So if we were to add all these up together, because as you remember from last video, we add up the areas that we found. So we have 2 plus 0.5, so that's 2.5. 2.5 plus 0.4 is 2.9. And then we have 2.9 plus 0.1. So adding the 1/10 to the 9/10, that gives us another 1, which gives us our answer of 3. I'm starting to run out of room here, so I'm gonna put my phone down so I can switch over to a different color, not to confuse you guys with our next problem of 4.6 times 0.9. So please just excuse me here for a bit. Alrighty, and I'm back. So with this method, I was just going to show you that there's two different ways that we can do this, and we learned these on Thursday of last week where we had Noah and Elena's method. If you remember both their methods, perfect, but if not, that's fine. What I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you Elena's method, which Elena's method is very similar to what I just did down here. So I'm going to take both of these numbers and I'm going to multiply them by 10 because both of these numbers have only a number to the right of their decimal in the 10th place value. So if I multiply these both by 10, I'm going to make that decimal disappear. So this is 46 times 9. So if we set our math up vertically, we have then 46 times 9. 9 times 6 is 54. Carry our 5. 9 times 4 is 36 plus 5, which is 41. And then since I multiplied both these numbers by 10, 10 times 10 is 100. So I'm going to do 414 divided by 100, which, since we're working with decimals, I know that 100 will go into 400 4 times. And then I know for a fact that I can't get into there, so we're just going to go like that. This is where also might get confusing to some of you, but if you remember, we also had that method of where we would bounce out these decimals. So bounce out once, bounce out twice. Right here, this is where we bounce our decimals back in. So bounce in once, bounce in twice, which would give us our answer of 4.14. Alrighty, I apologize that this video ran a little longer than I was expecting, but shoot me a comment, subscribe, like, let me know how you're doing, and I hope that you are keeping clean and that you are staying healthy during our time away from school. Take care. Bye.